I'm so sorry. I've been muted all this time.
I'm so sorry.
Okay. So,
Okay.
Okay, so today's prompt is sorry about that, chat. Sorry, TikTok, sorry, YouTube. I've been I've been yapping all this time and no one heard me. Okay, so welcome, everyone. Tap the screen, tap the screen, tap the screen. So today's topic is going to be about independent women are masculine failures. Star Dawkins explains why she can't date a man who works a 9 to 5. Now, for those who haven't seen the video, please do check it out. It's a very interesting video. I mean, she is a typical bop. Okay, this is a typical a typical bop who first traps her whole entire livelihood because she's desperate. Now, the most obvious thing I find with these independent Fefails who are unmarried, they will go on these podcasts because they are desperate. Don't let them fool you. A lot of these Fefails want to always make it seem as if they have options. Okay? They always want to make it seem as if they are single by choice. Listen, there is no woman that has options or is capable of attracting the man that she wants is going to go online and open her mouth and say, I don't want to date a 9 to 5. Because the reality is, if you didn't have the options that you wanted, you wouldn't be saying that. If she could be able to get the man that she wanted, what would be the reason for her to open her mouth on a podcast? See, what you really see is a desperate Fefail. Two things, okay? She is highly frustrated, okay? A lot of these Fefails are very, very frustrated. The only thing they can get from men is their cheeks clapped, but they can never seem to get married. The second thing is they are desperate. Okay? Right now, she's putting herself right in front of social media, whatever platform she's on, to let all the men that she wants to know that she's available. That's all this Fefail is doing. What she's doing is letting everybody know is that she's available. Every Fefail, and I don't care how much money they make. I don't care how broke she is. I don't care how much of a baddie she is. Any Fefail that comes online and talks about her failed relationships, her failed singlehood, her failure to be able to find a man that she wants, she is desperate. She's desperately putting her nyash on any platform to try and get the man that she wants. Okay? She has tried everything possible. She's tried to pop her coochie, pop her nyash, first trap her way to making money and becoming an influencer, and it still didn't land the man that she wants. So the next best thing they do is go on podcasts and talk about how their nyash only wants to be with an established man. Okay? Not one established man that she's opened her legs to wanted to marry her. And what's funny is when you listen to these independent Fefails, they are very, very entitled. These independent Fefails are extremely entitled because they believe once they make a little bit of bank, once they make a little bit of money, now they're entitled to a man that's established, a man that makes over 6 figure, because somewhere along the line, they believe they're on his level. And what makes me laugh is how delusional these Fefails actually are. These Fefails actually believe that those type of men who are established, those type of men who have succeeded and climbed their way up will just click in a finger and go fly her out. These females are so delusional, they believe that those men that they are seeking for is just going to stop his life to spend money on her. And that's what's funny is they will talk about, well, I don't want a 9 to 5 because the 9 to 5 is not going to have time, but neither is the guy who doesn't have a 9 to 5. A lot of times they actually believe that just because a man is not doing a 9 to 5, he will have more time for her. That's not true. That is actually the furthest from the truth. Because if a man has succeeded financially and he doesn't have a 9 to 5, then he's putting a lot more hours than a man who has a 9 to 5. And he has less time to waste. And he may have more money, but he's not going to waste it on some nyash unless he's clapping them cheeks. So I find a lot of these females are very delusional. They actually believe they are entitled to a certain type of man, when realistically, no man wants you. The 9 to 5 doesn't want you. The man who doesn't have a 9 to 5 doesn't want you. No man wants you. The only time a man wants you, it's either for you to be his placeholder or for you to be his side chick. Because there's nothing valuable about these independent females. And I'm not saying valuable as a human being, but when we really took a look at marriages and having a healthy relationship, what do these females bring to the table? Thank you, Blackmailed. What do these females bring to the table? What do these females actually bring to a man? What do these females actually have when it comes to their character, when it comes to their morality, when it comes to their intrinsic values? What do you actually have that any man will even want to be attracted to you? Nothing. You no longer function like a woman anymore. These females really believe because you put on a bit of makeup and you put on some wigs on your head and you look like more of a feminine version, that means you are feminine or doesn't mean anything. Femininity is not solely based on looks. And that's how I know these females are dumb, because they expect men to be that dumb too. Thank you, you're not the father. They expect men to be that dumb too. They believe, well, as long as I put on a bit of makeup, as long as I first trap my way through social media, then some simp, some sucker out there is going to find me feminine. But to be honest, how many simps out there that make the money that she's looking for even want her? This is how you know everything that she's doing is not working. You know, when I listen to these females talk about the type of man that they want, it really just shows you how much they failed. It really just shows you how far attached she is from her womanhood. Because an actual feminine woman wouldn't be stupid enough to do this. That's one. A feminine woman is not going to go on social media loud and aggressive and combative talking about the man that she don't want and the man that she does want, and it's centered around money. And this is a really dumb one as well. It's funny that these females think it's actually feminine. You're being transparent. No, you're being desperate. What you're doing is putting a price on your nyash. And that's the only time these females even are able to get these type of men. If the man wants to clap cheeks. Yeah, men will be willing to pay to clap cheeks. Okay? Men will be willing to pay to clap cheeks. Just quickly giving a restart. Okay, we're back. Because I started off muted, so I thought, let me just restart it. So independent women are masculine failures. And, as I was saying, a lot of these Fefails don't really want to admit that they are so far attached from their womanhood. That's what makes them so unattractive. It has nothing to do with looks anymore. It's beyond looks. Because at the end of the day, these Fefails are buying their looks, okay? Cosmetic surgery today is so advanced. A lot of people don't even notice that they get their cheeks filled. They get their chin filled. They get all of these very minuscule fillers that you actually don't even notice. A lot of times, you don't actually even notice.
Other than werewolves. Oh my god. I just need black scarabs now, woolly rhinos, and ice wolves. Yeah, but all lives are good, yeah, but hasn't this one been better? Okay, wait, I'm trusting you with these, because I trust Binker.
These Fefails are so far removed from their femininity, from their womanhood. And it's funny because they spend all day, all night focusing on their looks. And to be honest, in today's society, in today's generation, in 2026, it's easy to have sex appeal. It's easy to look cute. It's easy to look pretty. It's easy to make your body look a certain way, even when it doesn't look a certain way. The reality is this baddie aesthetic, pretty privilege, as they love to call it, when it's really smex appeal. It's easy commodity. Okay, the supply for smex appeal, the supply for a pretty face, a cute figure, it's over the roof. It doesn't mean anything anymore. Because what one Fefail won't do, another will do. And let's be honest, once a man has a decent amount of money, listen, a lot of these Fefails will say they don't want a 9-to-5. But let me tell you something. If that 9-to-5 was making over 6 figures, they won't say nothing, okay? Fefails you see, a lot of these Fefails want to act as if they can even tell when a man has a 9-to-5. They can't tell nothing. All they can tell is how many zeros he has in his bank account. That's what these Fefails submit to. They submit to how many zeros that man has on the bank account. So if he was a 9-to-5, a manager who was making over 6 figures, she will still bend over like a dog. Okay? She will still bend over and let the man clap her cheeks. These Fefails want to act as if they care whether the man is a 9-to-5 or he's not a 9-to-5. What it is, she's not getting the man who has the 9-to-5 with money. A lot of men who has 9-to-5 make a lot of money. Managers make 6 figures easy. So it's nothing new. What it is, a lot of these Fefails are frustrated. They're highly frustrated because it doesn't matter how many thirst traps she posts, and she will get thousands of followers. These Fefails get so many followers just for showing their nyash, but they never actually get a good, healthy portion of options. They never actually get the options that they want. And when they do get the options that they want, 80% of the time, maybe even 95% of the time, the man only wants to bust a nut. He only came to chase a nut. And it leaves these Fefails very frustrated. It leaves these Fefails very angry. This is where you get they dislike men, they dislike this. No, it's not that. It's that everything that they're doing is not working. Her thirst traps are useless. Her makeup is useless. And this is where I find that a lot of these females underestimate men. They really do. Because when it comes to looking for a wife, men have very high standards. Compared to these females have no standards. Let's be honest. They have no standards because once a man shows that he has a bit of money, she's going to open her nyash. Thank you, you're not the father. Thank you, Don. She is going to open her nyash quicker than tomorrow. A lot of these females underestimate that a man can be able to tell when he wants to treat you like a fun girl and treat you like a wife. They think those things simultaneously exist together. But that's because they would act like a community box to be a wife. And they think men function that way. They think a man is going to treat you like a community box and marry you the next day because they become community boxes to get married the next day. It's very dumb. A lot of these independent females like her who are these influencers and are these baddies, they're very dumb. The only reason why they have any type of clout because Smek sells. Not because she was valued in society, not because she's intelligent, not because she's studied for years and she became a doctorate. None of those things. It's because Smek's appeal sells. That's all that it is. And depending on how much nyash you want to put out there and how you want to put it out there, you can be another influencer baddie just like her. But to get married, to be a wife, that's not happening. That is not happening. And this is a very sad attempt to try and get the man that she wants. That's all I'm seeing. See, when I see these videos and I hear these females talk about the type of man that they want, it's a very sad and poor attempt to try and get the man. It's like going to another location to swim. Not to swim, sorry, to fish. She's looking to fish somewhere else. Going on these podcasts is another way of fishing for that rare fish that she wants, but clearly she can't have. These females need to understand that there's no man out there who makes the money that he makes is going to want you as a wife. Oh, and even if he does exist, it's very, very small, very small. He's not going to go for an independent female like this. No, he's going to go for someone younger and a lot more feminine. Even if she is a baddie, an influencer, there was, I forgot his name. There was an actor, a US actor. He was in Think Like a Man. He recently got married. Now, the woman he married, she did look like a typical female, but she was younger. She looked a lot more feminine. So even the simps out there who do make a lot more money are not going to go for someone that looks tough and someone that is clearly combative. Because even they have more choice to go for someone that's younger and feminine. So the reality is, when you have these females who are combative, masculine, and aggressive like her, talking about she doesn't want a 9-to-5, no man is going to want to marry her. No, especially those men with money. These females underestimate they have options. When they see these men are not married, that is a choice. That is a choice that he made. A lot of these females think that they can't be able to find the woman that they want. That's what they believe. They see a very wealthy or established man that's single. They think, well, he couldn't find a wife that he wanted. No, he's been finding a woman that he wanted. He just doesn't want to settle down. He just doesn't want to settle down. He's been seeing the feminine woman. He's been with the young feminine, the young feminine wife, someone that is very traditional. He's seen them, he's spoken to them, but he just doesn't want to get married. But it's very different for these females. When they come across those men never propose to them. Those men never pursue commitment. Those men only take it far as the bedroom. See, it's not a choice for her to be single, but it is a choice for him to be single. That is one of the biggest difference that a lot of these Fefails, thank you, Oja, a lot of these Fefails don't like to admit. That a lot of times you Fefails aren't choosing to be single. You're not choosing to be single. You're choosing when and who can clap your cheeks. But when it comes to marriage, you ain't getting that. Go start your sir. I see you in here. I have no idea what you're saying, Lucky. No idea what you're saying. But the reality is these Fefails are desperate for a man. They're desperate for a man to splurge on them. They're desperate for a man to spend money on them, but they're not getting it. The reason why she's saying she doesn't want a 9-to-5 because all the men that she wants aren't making enough money for her, aren't making the money that she's looking for. Oh, okay. That Lucky said that was for someone else, babe. Okay. So the reality is a lot of these Fefails think that looking a certain way, acting a certain way is somehow going to change how men will perceive you in the dating pool. And it's interesting, you hear a lot of these Fefails talk about the dating pool is full of piss. Have they ever asked themselves, maybe they are the piss? Maybe it's themselves that they're experiencing. Because at some point, it has nothing to do with men. At some point, if you are in the piss and you smell the piss and you're drinking the piss, it's coming from you. It's not coming from anywhere else. It's you. It's like a Fefail always saying she's always smelling dookie. She's always smelling doo-doo. Everywhere she goes, she's always smelling dirty nyash. Everywhere she goes to the restaurant, I smell dirty nyash. She goes to the gym, I smell dirty nyash. Well, who do you think is coming from at this point? You go home, you smell dirty nyash. You're online, you smell dirty nyash. It's you. I don't think you Fefails hear yourself. It is you who stinks. It's you who's full of feces. It's not the men. I don't know where these Fefails always find a new way to blame men for their failure. That's how I know they are completely delusional. So when this Fefail is online talking about, I don't want a 9-to-5, it's you who stinks. It's you who is the piss. And a lot of them don't want to admit it because they're so used to online attention. That's where you get a lot of these Fefails are egotistical. Listen, all them likes, all them DMs, all them views for your stories, and yet no man wanted you except to clap your cheeks. No man wanted to commit to you except to clap your cheeks. The only thing a man's going to be committed to is busting a nut. That's the only thing those men are committed to, is to bust a nut. Because the reality is, she's been around those men that she's looking for. The men that she's describing, she has been around them plenty of times. Okay? This is your typical influencer. She's been around different men who make different amount of money from the highest to the lowest. She's been there. She's done all of that. She's done all of them, and she's done all of that. So best believe she is a veteran when it comes to getting ran through. Okay, these independent masculine Fefails are veterans. Okay, they have been ran through by the lowest to the highest, you name it. This is why they love being experienced. When they talk about, well, you know, you need to experience, or I'm experienced, and you know, a man, before I find my man, I need to be experienced. That's what they're talking about. They've experienced being ran through. They've experienced being ran through. And every single time they couldn't be able to get the man that they want. Because every time that man comes across her, he realizes she may be a community box in bed, but she's combative. I mean, the fact that she already opened her legs is already a big red flag. So she was never going to be seen as a wife. But outside of that, she's combative. Her attitude stinks. She's not feminine. She's very masculine. She's very entitled. She believes that the money that she makes, or whatever career she has, or whatever establishment that makes her independent, or how she views herself as independent, she believes that now she's owed a type of man. And this is also another reason why a lot of these men that these Fefails talk about, they just run through you. This is why a lot of these men cheat on you. This is why a lot of these men, they will call narcissists. Because let's be honest, what good will it do for a man to be good to you? What good will it do for that man to be good to you? At the end of the day, you are only there because you view him valuable for his assets, not who he is. I mean, not one time do you really hear these Fefails talk about the man and who he is. They talk about the man and what he has and what he can do for her. And it has nothing tied to his character. So any man that's smart enough is going to know that these independent masculine Fefails are only good for one thing. Any man that has any common sense knows to only just clap her cheeks. Because the reality is, independent Fefails will do nothing but eat another man's money, be masculine, will never know how to submit. I mean, what use would it be for a man if his own wife doesn't know how to submit? And these are men, and the reality is, the more community boxes there are out there, the more men have options. The more men have options. There's a younger version of you Fefails out there. As masculine, as independent you are, there's a younger one just like you, who's just as masculine, just as independent, and just as much as a community box. We believe that they have some type of high esteem in the dating market. But this is the same confidence they have when they post their thirst traps. This is the same ego that they have when they post their first traps. So they're always going to be loud. They're always going to be very expressive, because the reality is she's been showing her nyash. She's been sacrificing her nyash to get where she's at. And that's very masculine. Because it's really the man he's supposed to sacrifice. It's really the man he's supposed to spend hours working. It's really the man who's supposed to be doing these. Because all you're doing is just going to unalive and not even retire in life. All you Fefails, all you're going to be doing is complain about the same type of man that clearly doesn't want you. That's all that's going to slowly really happen. These Fefails will never stop complaining about the type of man that they want. They will never stop complaining about the type of man that they want. And they believe because it's easy to get him to sleep with her, then it'll be easy to convince him to marry you. The reason why these Fefails even post all these first traps and do the most, because they're competing with other women. Or should I say Fefails? Women too, because some of these men marry a woman. They won't marry a Fefail. So they're really competing with women, young women. They're competing with young Fefails, older Fefails. So these first traps, these wigs and makeup and all this useless aesthetic, it's a must. You know, you hear a lot of times men will say, why don't these Fefails want to be natural? One, because they really do have a strong disdain for themselves. That's the truth. But second of all, they are competing. They are competing with every woman and every Fefail out there. And the only thing they have is their sex appeal, because their money is useless. Your independence is useless to a man. There's nothing your independency is going to give a man, do for a man, change for a man. There's nothing these masculine Fefails will do that actually a man is going to see as, wow, that's someone that I would love to be my wife. These Fefails believe just because you're in the same space as certain men, somehow these men are going to value you because you're in the same space. That's what they believe. They've been watching Disney movies so long, because in these Disney movies, you know, the princess always finds her king. So they think they're going to find their king in these very established events, very established companies. They think that somewhere in these places with these wealthy established men, they're going to come across their king. The man don't want you. He may just take you to the bathroom, but that's as far as it's never going to go to the aisle. He will take you everywhere else except for the aisle. She has been everywhere else except for the aisle. That is a fact. These Fefails have been everywhere else except for the aisle. And that is an experience these Fefails really begin to dislike. An experience that they really begin to disdain. An experience that actually makes them more depressed. It makes them more exhausted, mentally drained. Because you need to understand, these independent Fefails do want a husband. They want a husband. They want a masculine husband. And are doing everything to get that man. See, these Fefails won't want to admit it. They're not going to admit that they are doing everything to get the man that they want. They will just go online and put a mask on their face and say, I don't want a 9 to 5. I'm living my best life. Don't sound like it if you're online complaining about the man that you can't have. People who are actually living their best life don't complain about things that they don't have. They enjoy what they do have. So somewhere behind that wig, she's miserable. And she can't be able to get any man to marry her. So there's no such thing as they are choosing to be single. Thank you, Dante. They're not choosing to be single. They're choosing to sleep with the man that they want. They're choosing to open their legs to the man that they want. But they're not choosing to be single. Thank you, Young King. They may be choosing the wig. They may be choosing their makeup. But the reality is, a lot of these Fefails, they would love to hold the keys to marriage. A lot of these Fefails want to hold the keys to marriage. They don't want to have to always wait for a man to ask for hand in marriage. That's why a lot of these Fefails really like the idea of being a man. This is why they like the idea of being equal to a man. Because a man will find his wife and say, be my wife. It's just that simple. Now, a Fefail who will see a husband that she wants, that's not simple. It's not simple. You can look at this man and think, that is the husband I want. That is the man I want to have children with. That is the man I want to spend the rest of my life with. But that can only go as far as your head, as far as your imagination. That man can only make it a reality, not you. And Fefails really don't like that. They don't like the fact that men actually have control over something they really want. And they do everything in their power to get as close to that type of control. By being financially successful, by being masculine like him, by being in the same room as him, by being in the same places like him. They're trying to get close to him. But they will never hold the keys to marriage. The man will never marry you if he doesn't want to. There's nothing you can do to convince that man. And Fefails really don't like that. That's why you have a lot of these feminazis who dislike men. These Fefails dislike men because they can't get the men that they want. That's all that it really is. These Fefails that talk about men are trash, men are rubbish, they are angry because they can't get the men that they want. They want those men so much that they begin to despise them. It's like when you hear someone having a crush on someone, but they're mean to them. That's these Fefails. They're mean to the men that they like. They're angry because that guy doesn't give her the attention that she wants. The guy never proposed to her. The guy never committed to her. They don't dislike men. They want that man. They have done everything for that man. And they can't get anything else. These Fefails give everything to those men, and those men don't give them everything. Now, that is a very hard pill to swallow. As experienced as she is, that is something she struggles to actually digest. Because she will give everything, her time, her body, and if she has money, she will pay for an aesthetic, and all the man is giving her is the D, or paying for nyash. That is all he's doing. He's either just giving her the D or paying for nyash, which is practically the same thing. So she knows he's not even giving. She knows he's not giving her anything. To be honest, she's not even getting the bare minimum. She's getting less. She's getting less from that man. And she knows it. The money just makes her feel comfortable. Whatever the man spends on her, whatever the man takes her out to eat, whatever it may be, all it does, it just makes her comfortable. But she knows damn well she is getting the bare minimum. She is not getting anything that is actually valuable from that man. So really what you have is a lot of these independent Fefails who are just frustrated. They're just frustrated because they can't seem to, thank you, Wildflower, they can't seem to actually get what they want. And it's funny because they believed that money could be able to get them what they want. They believed having a house can be able to get them what they want. Having a car. See, once you have all these basic necessities because you're an adult, A lot of these females think because they think having a car and having a house means you've succeeded. No, you're just an adult. Okay? Feminism lied to you when they, a lot of times females think because now you own a bank and you own a car and you own all these things means that you are successful. Maybe if it was the 1950s, okay? Maybe if it was the 1960s. Yeah. But we're in 2026. Anybody can have a bank. Anybody can get a job. Anyone can practically buy a house. Anywhere in the world. So the reality is these females have got the things that they set out to get, and yet they can't get what money can't buy. You still can't even get the bare minimum from a man. You still can't get that. You can get your bust down wigs, your bust down weave, but you can't even get the bare minimum from a man. I mean, that is very frustrating because these females are not pure. No. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome, Nee. Can I get your age for TikTok purposes, please?
I am 21.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay, Neek. Welcome. Please, can you address the prompt?
Well, I don't think she should be worried about the 95 men who works those, because I feel like they doing the best they can to work that job. And it's not all about having money, men having money.
Okay, then. So you disagree. Have you seen the? So you disagree with the fact that she wants someone that doesn't have a 9 to 5.
Yes, I disagree.
What do you think about independent women are masculine failures?
Well, I feel like I really don't have a say on that. I gotta think more about that because I don't really. Like, do you mean like women like having jobs and doing all the work and the man not doing nothing, or you mean like what you mean by that?
I mean, an independent woman is a female who is single and either has a career or has a job. She doesn't live with her parents. She lives independently and she's single and doing practically whatever she wants. But she has this whole idea that she doesn't need a man. She doesn't really want a man. A man is never actually, is never really prioritized or valued to her at all.
Oh, it's I would say I would say it's like I believe that we can try by ourselves, but I mean, if she don't want to do all that heavy work all the time, yes, I agree she should have like, pin on a man. But other than that, if she feel like she needs to do it by herself, then I don't see nothing wrong with that.
Okay, then. So she wants to do it by herself, but yet she still wants to have a husband as well. And that's where it doesn't mix. It's like oil and water.
Nah, definitely that don't mix, because that's not how the marriage worked. Y'all both can have jobs and y'all can do the same thing, but you trying to do everything and not letting the man try to do anything, that's not really a good marriage there. If that's basically what you're trying to say that she trying to do.
Okay, so when I asked you about independent women are masculine failures, what does an independent woman to you? What do you think that is?
A woman who do everything by themselves and work hard for what they got.
Okay, yeah, that is true. So to some extent, you practically just agree that. Would you say that they're masculine? I'll be very honest with you, Nick. Everyone is saying you sound very young, and I'm not going to lie. I've questioned it when you first came on.
I'm so sorry. That's how I sound. I just have a soft voice.
It sounds like you're just clueless. I'm not even going to lie. For someone that's 21.
No, I'm not clueless. I just didn't understand the plot real good.
Oh, I mean, okay. So I'll be very. It does sound like you're clueless. I mean, you sound a lot more younger than 21.
I'll tell you what. I swear, I'll tell you what. I just sound like that.
Okay, then. So, what do you think? Do you agree that independent Fefails are masculine? Let me see what you have to say, and I'll think about it if I'm gonna drop you or not. Go on.
Well, I don't see it as that, but maybe I'm like wrong.
Okay, why don't you see it? Why don't you see independent Fefails as masculine?
Because I feel like there's nothing wrong of doing certain things by yourself.
Okay, and what do you think? All right, then. So, what do you think? What do you think masculinity is? When I say independent,
Yes.
when I say independent Fefails are masculine, what do you think that is?
To me, I feel like you mean like women who like do. You mean like work and stuff and housework and like fixing things like a man would do, stuff like that.
Okay, so what is masculinity to you?
That's a hard question because I never thought about looking into what it means to myself.
Okay, and why is that?
Because I guess because I never seen a problem with a woman trying to do whatever they want.
But that's not that's not this is why people think you're young, because how I'm asking you a very simple question. What is masculinity? Because I'm asking you these questions to have an idea of your mind a little bit, because you do sound clueless. So what is masculinity to you?
Like I said, I didn't really think of it.
But you're 21. What are you thinking? I don't.
Yes.
How
Yes,
do you,
I am, but
how do you not know what masculinity is, or an answer for it at least?
Because I don't know if my answer of it is of the massive of what you're talking about.
It doesn't
So
matter.
that's
Just give me an answer.
like dressing like masculine and, you know,
It's not looking
doing
good.
things man does.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm going to drop you. Thank you for coming up. It wasn't looking good. When you said masculine, and then you said looking good, it was over. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you, Nick. I'm not laughing at you. My apologies. But it was so obvious that you was young. I entertain it because sometimes sometimes they do sound young and sometimes they may not know a lot of things. So I can't judge someone for not knowing things, but it's like there's basic questions that you are supposed to know because of your age. As a 21-year-old, you don't say masculine. And you don't say masculine has anything to do with how a man dresses. Like, you know, that you have no idea what masculinity is because you're not 21. I'm sorry. That I've heard I've spoken to a lot of these Fefails who says they are 21. You can just hear it. I'm sorry. So that was it for me. As what did I say? It's baked chicken. That was baked chicken. Anyways, that was an interesting conversation. It's interesting when you hear a lot of these younger, you know, a lot of the young ones, they be listening. And it's always just interesting to know that. Right? Anyways, so you know, a lot of these Fefails, you know, I think about that question I was asking her, right? And I'm just thinking about that conversation, and what that reveals to me is, you know, when they talk about the stats about young girls and young boys and how they use social media so differently, they really do. Because the reality is, I'm shocked that young girls will go online instead of talking to their parents about what masculinity and femininity is. And this is where it starts, okay? Because the reality is, a lot of these independent Fefails, they had this mindset of, I can do it all by myself. I can learn everything all by myself. I don't need to go to my mother and father for anything. I don't need my father's advice about anything. I don't need my father's advice about... They have this mindset of, I can do it all by myself. I can learn it all by myself. And then when they reach an age where now they're 25 or 35 or 45 and they haven't accomplished anything other than getting their cheeks clapped. A lot of these Fefails believe they're above the program. They really do. A lot of these Fefails really believe that they know more than traditional values that has been here for centuries. They believe they know more than what it means for a man when it comes to the type of wife he's looking for. They believe they know more than men. They believe they know more than God. They believe they know more than everybody and everything. And even when they've hit the wall and it's evidently clear you didn't know nothing other than opening your legs, these Fefails become so bitter that they will purposely just share bad advice. They will purposely just tell younger women to open their legs like Nia Long. Because it doesn't matter how old they are still competing with younger women. Especially the older ones. The older ones, they are very different. Because time is ticking so loudly, it keeps them up at night. Time is ticking so loudly that they will do anything to destroy their competition, even if it means mind rotting them. Even if it means eternally damaging them. Because let's be honest, once you're over 30s, once these Fefails are over 30s, they're on another gear. They're on a different type of shift. They're no longer on the I'm exploring, I'm experimenting, I'm experiencing. They're just now focused on what they can be able to get and how they can be able to get it. And they will do anything to do that. They will do anything to do that. Like give bad advice. Like tell younger women to be masculine, to sleep around. Because the reality is they aren't getting what they want. And they never will. Okay, so I've changed the prompt. This is a new prompt. It is be okay, women glorify dysfunction. Thank you, Dank. Be okay. Thank you, G9. Be okay. Fefails glorify dysfunction. And you know, the reality is, even when you take a look at these independent Fefails, you know, that all also goes under dysfunction. Thank you, Steve. Because the reality is, a lot of these BOK Fefails, they love to push this independent mindset. They love to push this independent image that ultimately just destroys them, destroys their community, and somehow they believe they are the ones who are uplifting it. They are the ones who are and it's funny because you always hear these BOK Fefails say, they always say they are the ones who are holding the community on their backs. How are these Fefails doing that? How are you Fefails carrying the community on your back when all you do is lay on your back? I don't understand that reality. For you to carry something on your back, it means you shouldn't be laying on your back anymore and letting the man clap your cheeks. It would actually mean, thank you, Annie Long, it would actually mean being productive in your community, not being destructive. I don't think these Fefails even comprehend. I don't think these Fefails comprehend what it even means to be productive. They believe that if they just get any job and do whatever they want, they're being productive. Being productive actually means having positive results. BOK Fefails don't actually have positive results for what they do other than STD, because they have the highest. So if you want to talk about positive results, that's as positive as it really gets. But when it comes to actually something that's conducive to their society, that's conducive to their women, to their community, I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything that BOK Fefails that actually is conducive for society. And I don't know where BOK Fefails think what they do is positive. Because we actually don't see it anywhere. We don't actually see it anywhere. For you to actually see that they are doing something positive, that they are actually doing something that's conducive, you will see the results. But you never see the results anywhere. You don't see the results in their hair. You don't see the results in their weight. You don't see the results in what they say. Just like that independent BOK Fefail, I don't want a 9 to 5. Where? And, you know, I know that people are going to say, well, other nations say this, you know, YT Fefails say this, Asian Fefails say this, Hispanic Fefails say this. Yes, that may be true. Yeah, there are going to be Fefails in every other nation. Yes, that is true. But the reality is they have higher marriage rates. So what that tells me is, what that tells us is, they have more traditional women in their community, in their society, that even the small portion of their Fefails doesn't actually do anything for them. We can't say that for BOK Fefails. We can't say that for BOK Fefails. There's not more women, there's more community boxes. When the marriage rates are 33%, whilst everybody else is over 40, you can see the clear difference. You can see there's a problem when none of you Fefails can even accomplish marriage that's supposedly easy. Apparently, it's easy to get married, but meanwhile, you have the lowest marriage rate. It's easy to get a man, but meanwhile, you can't even keep a man. It's easy to do all these things, but it's not easy to look after your real hair. It's funny that these Fefails have every excuse for why they are failing in society. And to be honest, when you are failing your own natural hair, when you are failing your own 4C hair, you are not going to succeed anywhere else. Let's just be honest. And a lot of these Fefails think, how does it correlate? How does a BOK Fefail wearing wigs on her head has anything to do with marriage? Listen, for you to be in a healthy marriage, you actually need to learn how to love yourself. Okay? There has to be a healthy amount of self-love, because a lot of you Fefails will marry a man thinking it's his responsibility to make you into a better person. A lot of these BOK Fefails will marry a man thinking it's his responsibility to make you feminine. It's not a man's responsibility to change who you are eternally. So then when you take a look at these Fefails who have all these wigs, extensions, then there shows there is a lack that's only going to reveal in other areas in that marriage. If you Fefails don't even know how to love your own hair, then what makes you think that she's going to be able to love the entirety of that marriage for better and worse? She can't even do that for her own hair. She can't even do that for her own hair. BOK Fefails rather have alopecia than a healthy afro hair. And somehow we believe that they're going to be in healthy marriages. Somehow we believe they're going to have healthy children. Somehow you believe you're going to get a feminine, loving wife who destroys her own self. Yeah, those things, it doesn't work that way. It don't work that way. Thank you, Boy Wonder. The only thing these Fefails love to promote and love to push is degeneracy. Because this is what they're good at. They're good at being degenerate. They're good at being dysfunctional. When I hear these Fefails talk about, well, you know, it's our culture, twerking is our culture. No, it's not. I don't care where you are from. If you are shaking nyash on camera, you are a community box. I don't care if you're from the continent. I don't care if you're from the islands. I don't care if you're from the UK, the US. You are a community box. Because there's nothing cultural about shaking nyash on camera. But a lot of these Fefails will have every excuse just to show nyash. They will say, well, they can't hide it. If you're thick, you can't hide it. No, that's a damn lie. Every other nation's hiding it, but you, BOK Fefails think they're the only thick ones? No, you're the only fat ones. There's a difference. That's why you have the highest obesity rate. You're not the thick ones, you're the fat ones. Every other nation can seem to be healthy, seem to have a proportionate body, and still be able to be modest. It's only BOK Fefails that take pride in being promiscuous. I've never seen any other nation take pride in being promiscuous. A lot of other nations have enough shame to hide it. They have enough shame to hide it. They may be promiscuous, but they're not going to put it out there. BOK Fefails don't do that. They need everyone to see their promiscuity. They need everyone to see their nyash. They need everyone to see their hips, their curves, and anywhere else that they want to sexualize. But there are lots of BOK women. What type of BOK? What do you mean there's lots of BOK women? I'm trying to understand what you're saying. BOK Fefails glorify dysfunction everywhere around the world. Okay? Everywhere around the world, you will see they're all doing the same thing. They just sound different. That's really, listen, if you put them on mute, they're all doing the same thing. Go search up 5 different countries where majority of BOK Fefails reside. They're all doing the same thing. Put them on mute and you'll see everything they're doing simultaneously aligns. Until you hear the sound, they all sound different. They sound different, but they're all doing the same thing. You're putting over 1 billion people in one group. Yes, I am. I'm going to definitely do that. Yeah, because majority of these BOK Fefails are dysfunctional. And it doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter where you go. They all act the same. They all talk the same. And they're all doing the same thing. And doing the same man. They're doing the same thing and doing the same man. They don't even have enough decency to at least not share the same D. They don't even have enough decency to at least say, you know what? It's getting a bit much here. Why are they all opening the legs to the same man? How will that be possible? It's very much possible. It's very simple. A man has access to plenty of community boxes. That's very simple. I don't know where you're confused. A man can dip in and out as much as coochie as he wants. And he's going to exercise his options. That's why BOK Fefails have the highest STD rate. That's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that they have the highest STD rate. They literally are sharing the same man. Okay? There's one man out there, a small minority of men, just clapping multiple cheeks. Multiple. And a lot of these Fefails are just catching L's. They are just catching L's or they're catching babies. Okay, welcome, P.
What's up?
I can't hear you.
Oh, my bad. I said, what's up?
Yes, welcome. What do you have to say about the prompt?
I wanted to talk about the point you brought up when you were talking. You said that all black women in the entire world act the same, think the same, talk the same. That doesn't make any sense.
Yes, majority of BOK Fefails do act the same, talk the same. Mostly in Western society, but you definitely are going to get some degenerates, even in third world countries. But yeah, majority are definitely the same.
You think most black women in South America, North America, Europe Africa, Asia, Australia, all act the same.
Yes,
Like,
I
are you being
said,
dead
yes, I said, I will repeat the same thing again. Majority in West definitely act the same. And you will find the same type of Fefails in the continents, in North America, in Haiti, excuse me, all acting and do the same thing. It may not be as much, but you will find them there. But in Western society, they definitely act the same at good 80%.
You're saying all black women. That's over 1 billion people you're putting in one box.
Yeah.
You sound like a white supremacist. That's not okay.
I mean, I'm not a YT. Say YT, please. I'd say BOK as well. I'm not a YT supremacist, but if you take a look at the results, BOK Fefails in Western society have the lowest marriage rate at 33%.
I don't really care about what you're actually. I don't care about this.
But
like,
I
what
have
you're
to.
saying.
But I am using. But that's where you keep getting on and off the mic. I can't hear you. I can't hear Pete. I can't hear you. You need to. I don't know what's going on, but your mic's a bit ruffled. Maybe you need to be still or something.
Hold on. Wait. Let me fix my case. My bad. Can you hear me clearly now? My bad.
Yes. Yeah. I can hear you now.
All right. What I was saying was, would you hear my? Did you hear my points earlier though?
Yeah, I heard that you said that you don't care about the stats, but the rest was just a bit muffled.
What I was saying was, you're putting all. I was saying is that you think all black. I mean, not all. You said most black women in South America, please. North America. I'm not saying that.
No,
you said
but you
most
have to.
women in,
you have to on my live. It's TikTok friendly language. You have to abbreviate anything that's negative, sexual, or has anything to do with race. How would the color black
be negative?
Say BOK. I said anything that is racial.
All right, BOK. All right, so
sexual or negative.
I guess.
Thank you.
All right, so BOK women in South America, North America, Europe, Africa, Australia, Asia, all like mostly act the same, think the same, talk the same. That makes that makes no sense. You're putting over 1 billion people in one box. You sound like a white supremacist. That's not possible.
YT, please say YT. It's not. Oh, YT. I don't sound like a YT supremacist when the results are clear as day. Now
So you've met most of these BLK women across the earth.
You don't need to when data has been collected, when the stats already are proving that they're failing. I don't need to. You don't need to meet every single person.
You literally just exactly sounded like a MAGA person right there. Do you really hear yourself? Say that back one more time.
BOK Fefails are failing.
Right, but no, I'm saying say the entire thing with the entire sentence you said.
Yeah, that's really what I'm saying. Okay, I'll say a bit more clear.
About the statistics part.
Yes, the stats are proving where they're failing at.
You literally sound like a MAGA person. That's the exact same. I mean, that would mean, like I just said, all the stuff white supremacists say about all of us, BLK people. White people, white supremacist, white supremacist people say about BLK people would be true.
Yeah, in 2026.
You're acting the same exact way.
Yes, in 2026, majority of it is true. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that in the 19...
You just hate yourself. So that's cool. I'm out of here.
Dislike, please.
Have the day you deserve to have. I'm out of here. You just hate yourself.
Oh, not triggered. Go ahead, Classy.
I've heard this in America so many times, it's almost mind draining. You just don't like yourself. The fact of the matter is, a lot of people don't see what problems this can cause with our community if we don't try to fix it right away. And I say this because, and let me say something. Before Donald Trump, he was the one that coined the whole "Make America Great Again." That's what MAGA means. This stuff was around way before Donald Trump. It was once in a while back during the slavery days and during Jim Crow, we were the most admired people on planet Earth because our family stayed intact. Somehow we decide to do the reversible. Now he says a lot of things that could be true. There's a lot of things that the government have done to switch that around. Okay, that's factual. But I tell people all the time, these stats, they come from hospitals, from research departments, from colleges and universities. And also, especially if you live in America, you got to file taxes. So they're going to ask you questions. Are you a spouse? How many kids you got? They collecting all this data from that. And even if you lie, you're going to eventually get caught up. You're going to get in trouble. So this is how they're collecting this data. Just like if you go to the hospital and if you have a broken bone or something, we take x-rays. We do all this work on your blood work. We keep this in file.
Oh,
Nothing gets erased. Just in case if you decide to go visit another doctor, you have this stuff where you can take it to him so he can compare notes. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, it's fine. No, you were speaking facts on facts. I am going to just quickly drop you because I'm trying to get oppositions. But when some opposition comes, then I'll definitely bring you up. But everything you're saying was facts. I was hoping he would stay, and I wanted to hear what you said, but he got a bit triggered.
Well, it's just, and that's what I'm saying. But those type of people that say that MAGA stuff, it's not just black folks. It's other folks that don't like Donald Trump. I'm like, all this stuff has been happening way before he even got in office or he was ever even heard of. I'm going to just throw that out there and I'll leave it alone.
Facts. Thank you, Classy. Definitely will bring you up when when some oppositions come through. Because there is a few like Sanderson saying, what's funny? Another MAGA, you're ridiculous. Okay, first of all, I'm not MAGA. I'm not even from the US. And secondly, anytime anyone says anything negative about BOK Fefails, you always claim that somehow I'm a white tea supremacist or I dislike myself. I mean, do you just dislike the truth? Are you saying that BOK Fefails are perfect feminine women? Is that what we're going to really do? We're going to lie? We're going to lie and say they are so wonderful to be around. Oh, they're so lovely. They're so kind. They're so giving. They're so nurturing, even though they have the highest single mum rates, but they're wonderful, great mothers, even though majority of their sons are in prison and incarcerated. Wow. BOK Fefails are amazing, even though their daughters are more likely to be teenage mothers. I mean, when will you Fefails wake up and smell the coffee? Thank you, Eric Jordan sent $2 Bro, pandering for Fefails still won't get you no Nyash. Yikes. No, it won't. Thank you, Wise Man. Sent $199. That simp was getting emotional. I hate to say that man is emotional, but it did end that way. Thank you, Eric Jordan sent $2. Donald Trump is standing on business. MAGA all day. Oh my goodness me. Okay, I don't even know what a MAGA sounds like. But apparently I sound like one. Very interesting. Cash said, are you perfect? It's not about being perfect. It's about calling out truth for what it is. Okay? It's about calling out truth for what it is. See, the reality is, BOK Fefails today in 2026 are no longer like the grandmothers that got married, like the great grandmothers that got married. They were wives, they had children, and they actually passed down some type of value. BOK Fefails don't function in that realm anymore. Thank you, Long Life. Thank you, Jamaican Roots. They don't function in that realm anymore. They function on shaking Nyash, taking the D, and being a bunch of single moms, being masculine, being independent. When you gonna shut the F up? Everything's so funny. Call out your own, call out your own truth. How about that? Well, the reality is, BOK women, Fefails are a collective. See, this is where people think that I separate myself, but the reality is other nations don't separate me. So what do I mean by that? So when you have 80% of BOK Fefails who are degenerates, guess what? Even the wives, even the good mothers, even the feminine ones are going to be seen as degenerates. So the reality is, everything that they're doing is not only just affecting them and their children, but it's affecting the good women out there. There's too many of these degenerates that are the blueprint of degeneracy. See, a lot of times people get triggered because you want to coddle BLK Fefails. That's what people want. They want to coddle these BLK Fefails. Listen, their community boxes ain't going nowhere. Okay, that's one. Community boxes, okay, it's easy commodity. You don't need to do much to get it. So the reality is, they will always be the blueprint of degeneracy. They love to be the blueprint of degeneracy. They enjoy being degenerate. This is their happy place. That's why when these BLK Fefails come across a good man, a man that's loyal, a man that is secure in himself or secure in his career or whatever he's doing, they reject it. They reject anything good because their happy place is their nyash and degeneracy. Their happy place is being a community box. Their happy place is everything that is corrupt, like their weaves and their wigs that they will spend £100, £200 to do. Even though it's full of chemicals, it's full of poison, it makes them sick, it ruins their health. And you know what's interesting as well, and they love to smoke. And you know what's interesting as well, you know, a lot of BLK, you know, one of the stats say that BLK women have the highest mortality rate. So when it comes to giving birth, is one of the highest. But then when you take a look at what they put on their head, what they put on their face, and how they function, I can't blame just the system. Because BLK Fefails are not healthy. They have the highest obesity rate. Majority of their makeup, majority of their wigs and extensions has chemicals, metals, all the things that destroy your body, your reproductive system, and everything about you that makes you healthy. So when I hear these type of stats, a lot of BLK Fefails will blame the YT man, will blame the system, will blame everything else. But will you blame your diet? Will you blame everything that you've been putting on your skull? Will you blame how you take care of yourself? No, they won't. They won't do that. BLK Fefails love being the victim because everyone's against them. No, not everyone's against these BLK Fefails. They're already destroyed. That's what I find funny. They don't need to destroy you. You're already destroyed. What is there for anybody to do? You destroy your hair all by yourself. You destroy your body all by yourself. You unalive unborn babies all by yourself. There was a single mom, about to be a single mom. She found out the baby was a boy and she took AB pills on her gender reveal. Now, you Fefails do it by yourself. No one needs to unalive your babies anymore. You're doing it by yourself. No one needs to unalive your sons anymore. You're doing it by yourself. You're already destroyed. I don't know how these Fefails blame any YT system, any YT supremacy. You're doing what they did to you time ago, but out of free will. You're not even being forced to destroy yourself anymore. You're choosing it. So they 110% glorify dysfunction. And you can't tell me otherwise. And guess what? Neither can these BLK Fefails. This is their room and their area of expertise. BLK Fefails can never seem to esteem anywhere higher. They think they are because they're getting more attention or more clout. But that's what community boxes get. Community boxes will always get attention, will always get clout. Okay? Community boxes are easy access. Every man is going to try and get a piece of easy access. Now, whoever gets it, but it doesn't mean men are not going to try. Thank you, Darwin Walker. Sent $2. Do your thing without hesitation, Remnant. Thank you. I appreciate you. This is where a lot of these Fefails get it twisted. They think this clout represents value. You think your DMs represent value. You think now you can start charging and demanding for coochie? For a ran through one at that. These BLK Fefails somehow think that they can be everything else but a wife, but traditional, but feminine, and still demand? For what? It's a whole new level of delusional. It's a whole new level of delusional. Anywhere you see a BLK Fefail or wherever you hear her, she's not saying, they don't even speak life into their community, into their nation. They spew a lot of negativity, a lot of self-disdain. Small said, what's your purpose of exposing? My purpose is to reveal the reason why I do this, because I think it's important for people to call out degeneracy. See, a lot of these BLK Fefails, they love to blame everybody else except for themselves. A lot of these BLK Fefails love to hide their dirty secrets, their dirtiness. So the reason why I do these debates, I do these prompts, because it's important to reveal what degeneracy looks like. It's important to know what it looks like, to know what it sounds like. Because a lot of these Fefails, they love to act like there's something they're not. They will talk to you about God, but last night she got her cheeks clapped. She would tell you God told her to leave her baby dad. Meanwhile, the child is dysfunctional at school. She will tell you she deserves a good man, but she shows her nyash all over social media. So yeah, these Fefails need to be called out for what they are and who they are, and that's degeneracy. Welcome, S'mores.
Hey, how you doing? Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Yes, fine, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I said yourself?
Oh yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
And I was asking the question because I just wanted to know your place. What place are you coming from when you're discussing?
Can you please address the
Black
prompt
women?
first, please? Let's say be
How about
okay.
now? Okay, BLK women. How about now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just address the prompt, please.
Adjust the prompt.
Yes, the prompt says
Oh, black
BLK women. Yeah,
Black women glorified.
yeah, but say
BLK
BLK.
women glorify dysfunction.
Do you agree?
Okay, BLK women glorify. Oh, yes, I do agree.
Okay.
But I don't just mean only BLK women.
Okay, then. So you do agree?
I'm with a YT woman, and she shakes her rump and she dances for me yourself. I just want to know why you're specifying it for BLK women.
Because
all women like kind of glorify.
Yeah, there's always going to be degenerates in every nation, but then the amount is also just as important. and there's mostly BLK degenerates than any other nation.
Okay, one can agree and one can disagree. Because maybe it's that BLK women are more publicized because they're, for whatever reason, but they're just more put on the forefront of it than other nations. Could that not be a factor?
I mean, to some
The media in
extent,
the world
I
likes to
mean,
watch what BLK do. I mean, you're doing a whole podcast on it.
I
Well,
mean,
your whole platform is about
I mean,
it.
to some extent,
So
but
the world
that's,
watches.
but the difference is other nations don't put their degeneracy out there for people to see. That's the truth. They don't. The degenerates, majority of the degenerates in other nations, they hide it. I'm sure they do their dirty work. I'm not saying they don't do it, but it's not always on the forefront. Not the same way BLK Fefails do. Like unaliving unborn babies. I haven't seen no YT or Asian go on camera and take AB pills because she found out the baby was a boy. And that's the difference.
I mean, I've seen YT women do worse. I've seen YT women kill babies at 9 months old.
They say unalive, but no, yeah, but they won't do it.
Unalive.
But majority, we're not talking about criminals. We're not talking about criminals. I'm saying, in a sense, that they don't do their dirty work online. And even at that, BLK Fefails have the highest AB rate. So what you have is there's more of them doing it and more of them promoting it. Whilst for other nations, I'm sure they exist, but it's not as high.
Okay, but I just really want to know, what's your position on exposing them or putting it? I mean, putting it out there on this platform for the world to see. I just want to know your position. What position?
I mean, the world already
sees it. Is it a position of hate? Is it a position of education, or is it
the world already sees
that you want them to do better?
The world.
So what's your position? We're not speaking. What's your position?
I'm trying to answer. So I'm just answering everything that you said. First of all, the world already sees it, okay? Everyone, every other nation is watching BLK Fefails beat degenerates. Now, my job isn't to educate them because we all have mothers and fathers or we all have family. It's not my responsibility to teach or educate degenerates. So the reality is, I'm here to debate or sometimes conversate with these Fefails, but mostly debate, because I want to expose this failed mentality that is happening in Western society. And another simple reason is I am a woman and I can talk about women as much as I want to.
Right. Yeah, you can. I mean, I'm not, but you, with the history of the BLK woman and your position as being a YT woman, it could kind of.
I'm not YT.
It might not be. You're not?
No.
Are you a BLK woman?
Yes.
Okay, well, I stand corrected. I thought you were a YT woman. And I'm not, even if you're a YT woman, I just wanted to know your position on it. What's your point of coming up here exposing them? I mean, I agree with you, but I think the BLK woman is just put more to the forefront than any other nations. Other nations twerk, other nations strip, other nations, they abort babies, they do all these things.
But not at the same extent, though. Nowhere near at the same extent.
Yeah, but it also, when you consider the fact that their position is not as fragile as the BLK women.
What do you mean their position is not as fragile?
They don't have the history of the BLK women. Specifically, we're talking about history.
Listen, every other nation has history. Now, I'm sure their history may not be as bad, but the reality is every other nation has been oppressed. I mean, every other nation's family has been destroyed.
What other nations have been oppressed?
Okay, examples like Indians. For example, Indians. They were. Why do you think
Indians oppressed?
Why do you think? Okay, for example, Indians. Why do you think in the Caribbean there's Indians that actually were born there? The difference. Do you know Indians also were in captivity? Now, the difference that this was the difference, right? The difference was this, is that for BOK people, they weren't allowed to keep their names and they weren't allowed to keep their language. Whilst for the Indians, they were, but they were both still at captivity. Now, those fine differences definitely makes a huge difference when you take a look at the future, but the reality is they were both still in captivity. How they were treated was very different.
So, okay. Well, let me ask you this: are the Indians that you're speaking of, are they under control? Are they still in captivity, or are they free?
To some extent, they're still under the British colonialism, so they're still practically under control.
Okay, well, I would say they have some comparison with the BLK women because they're still under the control of the same nation that captive.
But it's still, but this is here's the difference, though.
This nation influences.
No, but it
all
doesn't.
These things
But then we can't.
BLK
But that has nothing to do.
influenced
But that has
by
nothing.
corporate
They're not
America.
influenced by YT people and the YT colonialism, and it has nothing to do with that. Listen, YT people.
I would disagree with you.
Hold on, YT
I would disagree
people,
with you as far as post-slavery.
No, we're in 2026. Okay, it's been 400 years now. All right,
Right,
in
post-slavery. No, segregation was just 60 years ago. Segregation was 1960.
Post bravery
And we-
happened years ago. Okay, that happened years ago. We're not post bravery where.
Listen, I'm not saying they shouldn't take accountability. I'm saying the same nation that captured these have a high influence over their behavior these days, from the music they listen to, from the just all around. I'm not trying to discredit you as far as them having accountability, but I think post-slavery has a big reason.
No, it doesn't.
As to why they
Not
act
after
the way they
400
act.
years. Not after 400
It
years.
hasn't been, listen,
No,
you got to deal with Jim Crow
after
laws.
400 years. Listen,
How
after
long ago was the Jim?
hold
How
on.
long ago was the Jim Crow law?
Hold on.
You saying 400 years, but they're not
It
true.
doesn't matter. It was over decades. Okay, it's been a couple of decades now. All right, we need to build a bridge. BOK Fefails need to build a bridge and get over it.
A black man was just hung last month in Mississippi.
Hold on. Don't use that. Don't say that word,
A
please.
BLK man.
I'm not talking about a man.
was just
I'm not
hung
talking
last
about a
month in
man.
Mississippi.
Listen, hold on. I'm not talking about a
I'm
man.
just trying
Hold
to tell
on. You're not letting me
I think
land.
you're discrediting.
But you're not letting me
slavery.
land. I'm not discrediting
Go
it,
ahead.
but it's not the reason why they are degenerates. Okay, we can't keep blaming.
Are you sure?
We can't.
Are you 100%
Yes, I'm
positive about
100%
that?
sure. Okay, we can't keep blaming. We cannot keep blaming every other nation for our degeneracy. Okay, how come Asians are able to thrive in their community? Asians
You know
are
why?
under.
You gonna let me answer?
Hold on.
Can I answer?
Let me just
You
say
asked a
something.
question. Can I answer?
Can I just say? Can I just
They
land?
get grants.
Let
They
me
get
just
loans.
land. Let me just
When they
land,
get here.
please. Let me just land. Asians
Go ahead,
are
sis.
also Asians. Like I said, the Indians. They have been under the British rule for as long as BLK people. I know that may be shocking to you. Have been under the British rule for as long as BLK people, and they're still under it till this day. And somehow they have the highest marriage rate and the lowest single mum rate. They don't use YT people as a scapegoat.
Did the
for their
Indians have
failure.
crack put in their community?
Yeah, it wasn't.
Did
It
the
wasn't actually
government try to
smack. It
destroy
was
the Indians by putting crack in their community
It
over
wasn't
there?
smack. It was something else. It was chicken pox. They had diseases put in their community as well. Yeah, they did. It was.
And I'm not,
It was.
I don't totally disagree
It was.
with you. I'm not
It was
saying
someone
BLK
Churchill.
women
I
shouldn't be
think it
held
was Winston
accountable for their
Churchill.
actions.
Yeah, they did. It wasn't smack though, but they did have diseases. They used to put diseases on their blankets, and they starved them as well. Winston, yes, it was Winston Churchill. I'm not taking away history, but you need to understand the YT people did this to every other nation. That's how they rule. How they rule. Look at Australia. Australia used to be a melanated country.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I'm just saying that the way
Australia
that
used to
the
be
effect-
a melanated.
I
Sorry,
can't say the effect that it had on the Indians.
hold on. Australia used to be a melanated country. They literally unalived them all. So We can't keep using these excuses when it's happened to every other nation. And I'll be honest with you, to be honest, it's a little bit worse when every other nation's population is completely disappeared. There are populations today we will never know about because YT people unalive them.
How is it worse that you can't?
Because they
that's
no
what I'm
longer
saying,
exist. They
you
no
don't
longer
know how they
exist.
would be
That's why.
responded to if they were here
Don't you
today.
think it's worse? Don't you think it's a little bit
So
worse?
how can you say how they would be?
Hold on. Don't you think it's a little bit worse when your whole nation doesn't exist? At least
Yeah,
we still exist. We're still here.
But how can you say they wouldn't be glorified? But okay, so how can you say they won't be glorified dysfunction if they were here? Still being colonized under the
because
rule
look
of
at the
people that oppress
Indians.
them.
Look at the
You don't know what
Indians.
how they would be
Because
responding.
look at the Indians. Like I said, look at the Indians. They were colonized.
The
They
Indians
were
are on
captured.
reservations and they're drunks.
No,
If you're talking about the
no,
American
they're
Indians,
not. No,
most of them.
no.
Yes, they are. They're on. I travel through the reservations. They mostly are drunk and on reservations.
Asians have the highest marriage
Asians
rate.
are white.
Asians,
YT.
no, not all the time. Indians, no. There's so many different. There's so many very like they're not all white.
Indians are on casinos and are on reservations.
Indians are not all whitey.
I didn't say Indians. Well, I say Asians.
Yeah, but Indians are also Asians. There's different types of Asians.
The American Indian that was here before Columbus, however the history goes. They're mostly on casinos and they're drunks on reservations.
So,
and
for
they
example,
can't stand the white
when I
man.
say Indians, I'm talking about East Asia.
I don't know much about that.
Well, this is what I'm telling you.
I mean, I'm not trying to even argue your position. I just said you see, and you're white. You're a BLK woman, so I guess that's kind of a little bit more comfortable. I thought you were a YT woman, but to just single out, BLK women like that,
they singled out themselves. But I'm just going to introduce the next panelist, and then we can go back. Oh no, okay. So it's not that I'm singling them. It's not that I'm singling them out. This is the fact. They chose to be degenerates. Why can't they choose to be better?
I mean, you got YT women that are degenerates. This is like asking why can't they choose to be better? What about the YT women that act like the degenerates?
Because majority.
How ignorant is that?
All right.
What about the wiggers?
All right. Okay. For example, do you know the single mom rate for YTs?
No.
It's only 14%.
That's it.
Do you know?
BLK women.
It's 47.
47%. That's something.
Do you know the divorce rates for YT women?
No.
It's 19%.
What's right?
Do you know the divorce rates for BLK?
No. What is it?
39%. So
do you know? Now check this out. Now, do you know that around the time of I'm just gonna say when welfare kicked in, that the government told the BLK woman that they would give her food stamps, give her housing, the things that are essential to live, just as long as she didn't have a husband in the house. Do you think that maybe that kind of played, and that was, over time, it kind of led to this independent mentality? Do you think maybe that played a role into the mindset of today's modern BLK women?
It definitely played a mindset in the past, but not in 2026. When we talk about history, right? Especially, because you're talking a lot about American history as well. BLK Fefails in the US have much more access to their history than me. They have more access to every crucial part of these historic changes and historic times that happened. So it clearly shows that they don't care about history and they don't care to learn it for themselves and how to do better. So today in 2026, it doesn't matter. BLK Fefails are the most privileged in Western society.
Generational. I don't know the actual, but it's called generational. If you were taught this, then your mom taught you this, and then it's just been passed down. So where is it now?
Like I said, BLK Fefails are the most, BLK women in general are the most privileged in Western society. They're more privileged than every other woman. Doesn't even matter what skin color she has. She's more privileged than every other woman who lives outside of Western society. And she has more opportunities than every other woman. She has more access to education, to healthy food, to resources than every other woman outside of Western society. So that is a choice that she's making to not use these opportunities, access, resources to be better and do better. That is a choice that a lot of other women don't have.
I still feel some of it is systematic.
There's nothing systematic about choosing to open your legs.
I mean, when you encourage through the music and this is just more to it than I think. If you dig beneath the surface, you probably have more compassion towards the BLK woman than in America specifically. I mean, even as far as like the pipe to prison for their sons and the whole drug epidemic, it's been promoted through the music. It's just an attack on the culture in some aspect. Now, should they grow up and hold accountability?
I have a question for you. So you're saying that they've been influenced by the music and they've been influenced by the system. So when does that stop? Because it's already been 400 years and nothing's changing and nothing's getting better. So when do we actually start saying it's their fault?
Me personally, I don't think it'll stop until Jesus comes back. It'd probably be better for the BLK women because right now they're destroyed and they're gonna probably just go out destroyed. It probably won't stop. That's my personal belief. I believe it will take a savior.
Okay, so
if you can sit over here and make a whole panel about it.
So you believe it won't stop, right? Okay. Now, when do you think you can start saying it's their fault? Are you always going to blame the YT man for BLK Fefails failures until Jesus comes?
Yeah, I would say they got a lot to do with it.
So
maybe they're not supposed to be up under another nation.
In the next 10 years, you're gonna keep blaming the YT man for her opening her legs and being degenerate. And you think Jesus is gonna do the same thing as well?
I would think that slavery,
bravery,
going out, has a lot to do with it. I don't really think the BLK woman is meant to be under another nation. I believe they're meant to be under their own nation.
But they don't want to be. They don't want to be under their own nation.
Choice.
They do have a choice. What do you mean? What do you mean they don't have a choice?
They were kidnapped and taken from their land.
No, we're talking about in 2026. They have every choice to be under their own.
America won't even give them reparations.
No. That doesn't.
You think America's gonna allow?
Oh, so they need to be paid to be under their own nation. So they need to be paid to submit to a BLK man. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying they probably need to be under their own nation.
But that is their own nation. Their nation is a BLK man. So why can't they be under their BLK man right now? They don't need reparation to do that.
America. I don't. Now, that's my personal opinion. Not here in America. I don't think America has the best interest for the BLK woman or the BLK man.
But that's not the question. You said that the BLK woman needs to be under their own nation. That is being under a man. Because that man is your nation.
Nah, I mean nation, their own land, their own laws.
How do you expect to get these things? No, before you have land, before you have government, you have people. That's where it starts. That's how land begins. That's how government begins, is through people. Nations begins with people. If they don't want to be under their own BLK man to build these nations, to buy these lands or buy these wealths.
But check out what you just said. The whole nation that they're under encouraged them not to be under the BLK man.
But that's
the
a
same
choice.
Nation they're under now is encouraging them not to be.
But that's a choice. I mean, they chose.
Okay, that's fair to say. That's fair to say. But when survival kicks in, you be amazed what you do. You got to feed your kids,
and it's too late though. It's that. But then
you need. shelter. Oh, I give you all this, but you can't have no man in this house.
But that's still a choice, though. You're saying till survival kicks
Come on,
in.
man, this is survival. Yeah.
Yeah, but then,
This-
but that doesn't matter because they've already destroyed their house.
well, you know, I be tuning in, Remnant. I love your panel. I got to get to work. I will stop back by, drop a, you know, when I see you on live.
All right, then. Well, thank you for coming up. What did you want to say?
Yeah, you too. Y'all about to thank you, sis, for having me on. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Okay.
And again, I'm not trying. I think the BLK women should be held accountable, but I can just to say they glorified. That would be like saying my mom. I know my mom's a God-fearing woman, and she poured into us, and her, she just something went off the went haywire. But I really was just asking your position. I didn't know if it was coming from a position of hate, or you were coming to educate, or what was it all for? Why are you shedding light on the situation? What's the purpose? You said you just want to point out the degenerates. I mean, you feel like they need to be pointed out.
Smalls, they don't want solutions. When I give these BOK Fefails solutions, they don't want it. Do you know, a lot of people ask me this question all the time. They say, what's the solution? The solution is to submit to a BOK man. Because that's the only way things can change. The solution is stay married to your husband instead of being a single mom. The solution is...
They did in the beginning, but the BLK man was taught to be a player. He let the black woman, the BLK women down. I'm going back.
57% of BLK men don't have children. Have never had children, are childless.
Now, but you go back before the 60s, before integration and all that.
But you keep going backwards. We're in 2026.
Because I'm saying when the BLK women were standing beside the BLK man was taught to run over the BLK
but that
woman.
Doesn't
so
matter
the BLK woman fought back.
Okay, but today though, listen, everyone has a choice to wake up and make better choices. And there has been plenty of pastors, preachers, like I forgot his name, damn it. Louis Farrakhan, there has been Shazad Ali. There's been so many people that have come to light way after that are trying to change BLK women. And they still don't listen. They don't listen to a man. They don't listen to women.
I mean, under Farrakhan, the women in his community seem to be prospering. I mean, a lot of them just don't join those communities. They in the world, they under the banner of America, where you know hip hop. They listen to hip hop, and those are their inspired. Those are their role models. The rappers, the female rappers, they're kind of growing up. These women these days, they're not listening to the women under the nation of Louis Farrakhan or any other that speak with sense.
I just find that's just a choice. That's a choice. We can't keep blaming the YT man. I mean, you know, that would have worked when we was maybe in the 80s, right? That is probably the last generation that could have said the YT man did A, B, C, D. After the 80s, it was now a choice that they willingly made. After the 80s, it was a choice to change or to be degenerate, to build or to destroy. And they made their choice.
Okay, what happened between when we were together and the BLK family was strong to segregation and to where we are now? Because it was a point after post-slavery that we were the nuclear family. We were a strong BLK family. We set the tone. Something had to shift in between segregation and now, to where you put crack in the community.
Say smack.
You put smack in the community.
Yeah,
you did all kind of systematic things to target. I'm saying, I think you don't get it enough credit.
I'm not arguing against that. But what my argument is, that's not happening anymore. That's not happening anymore. And BLK Fefails have
Are
more.
you sure it's not happening?
Of course,
We
it's
don't
not
own
happening
planes.
anymore.
We
No,
don't
BLK.
own boats.
No,
We don't.
that's a choice though, because they don't want to build with their men. BLK Fefails have the highest divorce rate. Why don't they stay married and build with their husbands? All the things that you say we don't have. How do you expect for us to have it if they don't submit to a man, to a BLK man? Excuse me.
I'm not arguing your point now. I'm saying maybe you want me to stay out of the past. I'm just saying it's something happened to where their mindset on that level, because you have good BLK women like you spoke of in the community under Farrakhan and all the other different religious people. The particular woman that wants to be in the hip hop world, I would call it. I don't know how their mindset got there or why they choose to stay there.
I
It's
just
just the
don't. I
mindset. That's
just.
why I had a problem with the prompt when you specify all BLK women. Because, like you even said, I mean, that would discredit your prompt if you say there are good women under Farrakhan and other.
I never said
It's just
all, but I am saying majority. Yeah, definitely majority, but not all.
I think you probably just what you're saying on television. I think it's a divide and conquer strategy. Even when you open up TikTok and you panels like this, I think again they probably don't shed light to the relationships that are working within the BLK community. I know a lot of successful relationships. I don't really see.
Yeah,
I
and,
do
and
see
guess
a
what? And guess what? BLK women don't follow those people. You know, social media is an interesting thing because you really see who supports who the most. And the BLK families, the BLK couples don't have nearly as much followers or as much clout as Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
Who's Dr. Sharon Burr?
Oh, she's just another degenerate. But let me just bring in a Boy Wonder. Welcome, Boy Wonder.
Thank you. You know, what I think you got to understand is you seem to be going back to history, and a lot of BLK females do this as well. But I think you need to understand it's not the history that's doing what it's doing today. It's really not. What we're dealing with today is the degeneracy. BLK females are in love with degeneracy. They've fallen in love with the ideologies that the music has given them, that the glorified stardom has given them. They really want these rappers, but they want these rappers to really be BLK men. They want BLK men to have that lifestyle. They want to be treated like that. They want to be, sexualized. They want to be the sexual object because that's what they deem as beauty. If it wasn't true, they wouldn't be getting BBLs. They wouldn't be spending billions of dollars on makeup and wigs and weaves, lashes and nails. It's because they glorify the BLK 304 rap artist. They want to be the rapper's candy, the eye candy of a rapper. So you have in the U.S. where presidents, where government officiates will take the likes of a Megan the Stallion and they will put her on a pedestal because what they're saying, it's a psychological attack. It's a psychological dismantling of the actual average, standard, traditional, wholesome, masculine
Right.
BLK man. And what they've done now is they've given the image for BLK women to aspire to be like Megan the Stallion, Smexy Red, Summer Walker, Taraji P. That's what they've done. And our youth, they don't want to be like Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Louis Farrakhan, Muhammad, all of these leaders that we've had in the past, they've taken their lineage or their legacy and destroyed it because how they managed to do that is by making it of no effect. the rappers have more influence than the men who have more honor. It's all a psychological brain warping.
You couldn't have said it better. That was my argument with Remnant as far as like how we got here. It's been the whole psychological attack. But I do understand her position on BLK women taking accountability, and it just needs to end. But I really don't think that whole big market and that whole that's bigger than the BLK woman. I really do believe. So I don't think it'll ever change.
Yeah, that's I understand what you were saying. I do, and I'm not saying I just can't, you say it's bigger, but I think it's as simple as them choosing to actually want to change things. BLK Fefails rather be degenerates because it's more prosperous. When I hear what Boy Wonder is saying, is that and this is why they'll say psychological, but it's that to be degenerate in the YT man's land, you have to be successful in the YT man's land. You have to be degenerate. It's more prosperous, it's faster, it's easier to sell your nyash on the screen than building with a BLK man. Now that takes sacrifice, that takes work. That's why they call it struggle love. Because now it becomes almost a struggle to build your way up. Whilst if they just sell nyash and wear bust down wigs and weave, then every opportunity behind the white man opens up. That's easier. So I don't think it's a psychological in a sense, like, oh my goodness me, they're in chains and they're shackled up and they have no other opportunities. No, is that it's easier and the YT man rewards them to be degenerate than to actually work with your BLK man. But let me introduce Classy and then we can go back to open panel. Welcome. You can just jump in.
Thank you very much. I'm just listening. I don't know where to jump in at. I'm just going to keep listening.
Thank you, Inspector. Welcome. It's good to have you.
There is a lot to talk about, like I said, especially when it comes. I'm American, by the way. I'll just go ahead and say this. And me, I was born in 1976, so I saw a lot of stuff that did happen. I was able to see some of it even as a young child. The fact of the matter is, what went wrong with us is the fact that they joined the feminist movement. That's what happened. We all know that. They left the civil rights movement to join the feminist movement, but that fight wasn't our fight. That was the YT people's
YT women fight.
However, here's how it went down. Although this stuff was created by the CIA and things like that, the thing about the matter of this situation was the fact that the YT woman was mad at the YT men because he ruled over her, correct? The fact of the matter is that they could not get married YT women to join that movement. So they went after BLK women.
Right.
So that was a choice. It wasn't forced. It was a choice. For somewhere down the line, the BLK women thought they can get better than their men if they did this. They felt that the BLK men would have the same tyranny over them as the YT men, which that never happened, not even during the times of slavery. We always worked together. We always worked. So what power did we have to have control over them? We never had it. That was a choice that was made by the women. But I'm going to just hit that part right there. Y'all go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, but see, remnant argument is that they have a choice now, and I agree, but I just don't think that she kind of comprehends the gravity, and today kind of still exists behind the scenes that they have been affected with, and to how they got to where they are. And Classy just laid out some points to why the mindset is the way it is today. They didn't just become this overnight. Shit was kind of over time, and they were let down so much, and then experiencing the things they experienced under American civilization to where, I do really wish, I hope they do, come to to terms of reality and accept their behavior and change and stop, do the struggle of instead of trying to get it the easy way,
But Mr. Smalls, to
selling
combat your point.
action.
Oh, hello.
I think he's breaking up a bit.
God, I was going to tell him in
Was I?
2020. Oh, Mr. Smalls, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but to combat your point, we're way past that time. I'm not saying you should forget about what happened back then, but our people back then were hoping that we wouldn't use that for us to get better, to make it better for us. We
when
using
y'all
that
say that,
excuse,
we way,
but
way,
you gotta
way
listen.
past
Hold
that.
up, hold up. It's 2026, and I don't know you. I'm just speaking from my experience, correct? What I'm going to say, I have traveled. No woman in America, in first world countries have more rights than they ever had in any other parts of the planet except first world countries. No black woman, no BLK woman can't tell me in today's world what they can and cannot do. Everybody has a choice at this point in time. Now go ahead, Mr. Smalls. I'm sorry.
I agree with you that everyone has a choice, but I'm saying like I don't know if that was someone was touching on it earlier. The things that are promoted to the youth through the music psychologically still has an effect on the children, on the young youth coming up here as to how they're thinking and what's important to them. Because I have a 13-year-old daughter, and music kind of shapes the music and the stuff they see on TV that's promoted in the BLK culture. So I guess it would all have to start at home. But again, Jim Crow is only what 60 years old.
No,
They
but
haven't even been 100 years.
right, but a
Still
lot of us,
segregated.
weren't born during that time to even, we can talk
No.
about it, but we don't know the experience. So we're in
Okay,
2026.
so I guess I will be touching on economic poverty.
Well, okay, that's
Poverty.
fine. If you talked about economics, that's a different totem pole, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the dysfunction within our communities. Yes, you're right. It happens in other communities, but our numbers are very vast. Now, sir, I can tell you, I was born during the time when I was a kid and growing up during the time when hip hop was starting to come popularized. I listened to NWA. I listened to Two Live Crew, that my whole Miami sound about the jiggly puff music. I didn't turn out that way. Why? Because I had parents that was concerned. They kept me from that music. Just like when Cardi B said when she made the WAP music, she don't even let Culture listen to it, but everybody else is letting their kids listening to it.
That's true.
They should tell you something, sir. The same person that made that song doesn't let her kid listen to it.
Right.
But that should tell you something. She's been a good parent to her child by not letting her child listen
y'all
to it.
think all these BLK women just got here and choose this
No.
direction?
At this
Choose
point,
position.
sir, in 1990 in school, they taught us sexual education. And I seen the single mother rate arising during that time period. And I knew from that point, the more ladies I saw get it happening to, it was going to get worse. And it has gotten a lot worse than what it is.
And you keep going back to the system. So
But hold up. We live in the day of the internet world. You can find out how to protect yourself online. There's so many educational ways you can find anything online to figure out how to protect yourself. These women, a lot of these women, and you know this, a lot of these women are making the choice to hand their body to a man that they think that look good genetically or has enough money that they deem is good for them. Because at the same time, sir, can I come into your house without your permission?
Nah, not mine.
Then by that logic, a man should not be able to come inside of a woman. I know that sounds weird, without their permission. Therefore, they are allowing it. And the reason why they wanted to vote for Kamala Harris, because they wanted her to uplift that AB system where everybody can get ABs. Now, see, I work in the medical field and I know this. That's the reason why the women wanted to vote for him, not based on the fact that she had melanin in her skin. It was based on the fact that they want to be able to AB more children, which in turn tells me that they're just more irresponsible if they want that to come through. And what does that does to the BLK community within America? I don't know about the UK. It keeps our numbers low while everyone else numbers go high because they believe in the family structure. Go ahead, Mr. Small.
So it would be fair to say that you don't believe
Facts.
the effects of post-slavery has anything to do with the condition of the BLK women today.
See,
It's
Nope.
just
Because
their
you want to
choice.
know. Because you want to know why. A lot of them wasn't. None of us were born back then to even know what it was like. We just
But you
read
got to
about it.
factor in when you got to
No,
factor
I
in
don't. No,
economics.
I
You got to
do.
factor in economics. You
Sir,
got to
you
factor
said
in
slavery. You
let's
said
say
slavery, not
servitude
the
means
effects.
economics.
captivity.
Okay,
Excuse me. You
captivity.
said servitude, but captivity.
Okay,
Stick to that
the
point.
effects of
Okay,
post
Smalls, give
captivity.
me some examples of effects that's happened in 2026 when it came to servitude 400 years ago. Go ahead.
Okay, I will give you some. Okay, one example: the the smack epidemic. A father being put in prison for the government putting smack in his community that promoted him to sell, then arrested him and put him in prison for the rest of his life, and took the BLK man out of his son's life. Today, that son is still affected of growing up without a dad that the own government put him in prison, just so to say. So you want it's plenty of effects of post-slavery
So can I
segregation.
ask you a question? Can I combat that point? What you just said?
Go ahead.
Was that man not doing that stuff before that woman got pregnant by that man? Oops.
Doing what stuff?
Selling different paraphernalias. The DR. I can't say that word on TikTok because they're sensitive.
I
Was
mean,
that man, was the woman that man chose, was he a straight and narrow guy that was trying to do it? Because there was a lot of that in the black community. Not everybody was
okay, I'm gonna
doing
give you
that
another
stuff.
example.
Because
I will
I
use
was
another
I was
example.
around the 80, I was
I'm a,
around 85 during
right.
the epidemic with Ronald
So
Reagan.
we would
I
deal with
saw all of it.
economics and the economics of slavery. How the white T man got ahead? His parents, or father, was a slave master. So after
No,
slavery, they pretty
that's
much
please.
owned
Captivity.
after captivity. He inherited everything that his father left. That the captive bill. The captive left 19. Let's just 19 got freedom. Had nothing. Was sharecropping. What was he able to pass down
Sir,
generationally
I
to
asked
his
you a
kids?
question of what's going on in 2026. There are no more sharecroppers
You
in
asked me how the
2026.
okay 2026 there was no generational wealth passed down to the kids.
Why
So
is
a lot of
that?
the because they were captives.
Bull crap, because my grandmother worked for NASA when she was young. Stop it.
How old is your grandmother?
My grandmother
And
is
we
almost
and then plus
100 years old.
we're talking on a mass scale.
I'm talking about 2026. What is making the BLK woman today do what she do? How does servitude have something to do in 2026 with the music they choose to put out? What's her name? Lotto, Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B. That's a choice. Nicki Minaj. Nobody's making it. If they don't listen to it, guess what? They don't sell. And I'm speaking to you like that because I'm passionate. I don't mean to yell.
Oh, you're fine. I just don't agree with you. I don't agree that you feel that, and I could, we could agree to disagree. I don't sit here and say that the BLK woman today has no effect from the what happened, being captive, been put on the ship and brought over. Even I'm affected by it. I mean, probably not to the extent as coming up now in today's society, but there's still discrimination there in some areas that I've
Small,
learned
can
to
you tell
maneuver
me
and work
something?
around.
Small, tell me something. What is it that you can't do in 2026 as a black man? Because I'm a black man too in America.
What is it that I can't do in
Yes,
2026?
sir.
I mean, there's certain jobs I couldn't. I couldn't. I'm gonna tell you one thing. I went out there from an experience, and this is one thing. And this is a real quick example. My high school, my college, community college, uh, teacher told me I got my certification in welding, and I was, super
Okay.
excited, but I couldn't find a job. This was, let's say, I went to the army in 1990. Everything came back, but let's say around 2007. And so I decided to go get after I came back from the military. I decided to go get a welder certification. Got my welder certification, but I couldn't find a job because everywhere I went, it was you had to take a test. The test was always given by a YT man. So it's their decision they're going to hire now. And I really think I was qualified, and I wasn't the best. I didn't have much experience. I didn't have no on the job experience, but I got my certification in it. But I'm gonna
Okay.
tell you one thing. My teacher told me, my white teacher that taught me he told me it's a color thing. Now this is Alabama down south.
Okay.
So
So, all right, that makes sense right there. I see your point. You talk. I live in
Yeah,
Los Angeles. In certain
right.
parts of the South, I get that, but I gotta tell you something right now, sir. Here's where it becomes a problem. Now I can say this, but at the same time, I tell black people we gotta stop it because Africans also who are black like us can get the same jobs we can get. Now I know you're talking about Alabama. That's a whole different part of the South. I get that, but at the same time, sir, like I said, do you
What
really?
type of jobs do Africans get that we could get?
Oh,
Because
everything.
most Africans I see, they come over here, they get in the trucking business, they buy trucks, but that ain't even so much of a. You just get a quick license and you got the
But
finance
my
to start a
point I'm
business,
trying to my point I'm trying to make, they're the same melanated people as we are.
and they're not getting the jobs. They being
Yes, they
discriminated
are.
on now. I don't want to, remnant panel. I don't want to get
No,
off
no, no, no,
topic. You
no.
know what
That's
I'm saying?
fine. But that's why I keep trying to say we're getting too far off topic. The topic
But yeah,
is black women
black
glorify
women.
dysfunction in 2026. That has nothing to do with slavery, sir. It's the fact of the matter is their mothers, their aunts are choosing dysfunctional men. Why? Because I've seen it in my own family
And
as
I'm saying
well.
they're glorified dysfunction because of issues from post to now, the effects of it. I can't believe that a whole race of people just decided that they want to promote twerking, they want to promote selling their body. I think it's systematic, and I think it's kind of like you said. I think it was psychologically. Now, do they have a choice? Yeah, but I think the psychologically, the mindset that put them here is so corrupt. Now that it probably be and along other factors that got them here, bringing them out of that and reversing them. But
Well, can I ask?
maybe Remedy has a point. Maybe
Let me
a
ask you
good
a
BLK
question.
man
Let me ask you a question. You said mindset, right? Who's raising the kids?
who's a single moms.
There
How
you
did they become
go. So that is
that
point.
to the point I asked you on all
What
the
type of
fathers that
father was
permit
he?
that man trying
I'm black. A lot of these, a lot of these crap. YouTube by BLK. My baby daddy ain't ish. Well, in correlation, you're not. But
to man good at
no,
that.
no, I'm not talking about a whole general problem. I'm talking about correct. But they're choosing, and even though it goes in, I don't want to say it on TikTok, but you've seen it.
Yeah,
Be honest.
a few that
I'm
may
not. I'm not saying you, sir. I've been to Alabama before. I know it extra. You see it. I know you've asked them into the community. I know. I got daughters. I don't want them.
but on the one
Thank you. Let me go ahead and let y'all talk.
black women function. I I mean I didn't really agree, it was T women. So I'm like, look, I don't even know. I don't,